Now, with that said, the number one reason for hair thinning in men and in women is the same reason, by the way, it's hormonal, as a lot of women that we talk to suspect that is their hormones that are changing, and that's true. After the age of 35, women's estrogen and progesterone levels start to decline, which leads to a relative imbalance with testosterone. And this testosterone now converts to dihydrotestosterone or DHT, and DHT then travels to your hair follicles and starts to shrink them. So they get thinner and wispier. And pretty soon, the hair follicle is so weak that it's not able to grow out anymore. But this can also lead to permanent hair loss. By the way, this is the only type of hair loss that leads to permanent hair loss. The hair follicle shuts down and there's no more hair growth. And so one of my friends called me and she said, "Hey, I'm 45. I'm seeing a lot of hair thinning, or hair loss, I should say." And she said, "How do I know it's actually hormonal?" So the number one thing is if you're over 40, you're at risk already because your hormones are changing as women. You know this as a woman. The next thing I would say is an easy test. So if you're in the shower, you're washing your hair next time, just stick a few hairs on the tile. Stick a few that are in your hands on the tile and just kind of look at them and leave them there for a few hours and do this over a few times when you're washing your hair. So what you will notice typically is that some hairs are thinner, the diameter of the hair is thinner, and some are thicker. And if you see this, then this is a telltale sign that this is a hormonal hair loss because hormones, the impact of DHT will start to shrink your hair and make it thinner and thinner. So that is the number one reason, that is the telltale sign of how you can find it. And most women experience this type of hair thinning around the part. So their part for men, it starts in the front and goes to the back. And for men, DHT is very, very aggressive in the early 20s, late teens, early 20s, because that is when the testosterone is at its peak. It's kind of very, very high. And so DHT is very high at that time. But for women, this happens later on in life when there's imbalances in the hormones. So that is what the number one reason is. And we can talk about some of the other reasons, but this is the only reason, or this is the only root cause that will lead to permanent hair loss, is what I want to reiterate. And so you want to address this sooner than later. If you wait too long, then the hair follicle might shut down and it might not grow back again.